Most men are easy to manage. Give them a steady job, a comfortable home, and the illusion of choice, and they'll do whatever you want. They'll obey the rules, follow the trends, and live their lives exactly how the system designed them to. But then there's the Sigma male, the one man who sees through the illusion, the one who doesn't want power over others, yet somehow has more influence than the ones who do. He doesn't need the system, doesn't play by its rules, and worst of all, he doesn't fear it. And that's why the elites hate him. Because unlike the alpha, the beta, or even the so-called high-value men, the Sigma is truly free, and a free man is a dangerous man. The elites have spent centuries perfecting the art of control. Governments, corporations, media, and even social expectations, they all work together to keep people in check. And most men fall in line. But a Sigma male sees it for what it is. And once you see the strings being pulled, you can never be a puppet again. This is why the Sigma male scares the elites more than any other man, because he's the one person they can't buy, can't intimidate, and can't control. And today we're breaking down exactly why that terrifies them. Reason 1, the Sigma male thinks for himself, and that's a problem for the system. Most people don't think. They consume, they repeat, they obey, and that's by design. From the moment you're born, the system tries to program you. Schools don't teach critical thinking, they teach obedience. The media doesn't inform, it manipulates. Social trends aren't organic, they're manufactured. And most people, they go along with it, not because they're stupid, but because it's easier that way. Now enter the Sigma male. He doesn't blindly trust the news. He doesn't follow popular opinion just because it's popular. He questions everything, and that makes him a problem. Because in a world where blind obedience is rewarded, independent thought is a threat. The system relies on groupthink. It needs people to believe the same things, react the same way, and follow the same rules. If everyone starts thinking for themselves, the entire structure falls apart. That's why Sigmas are dangerous. They don't just resist control, they expose it. They make people question the narratives, the leaders, and the truths we're told to believe. And nothing terrifies the elites more than people waking up to the reality of their own oppression. This is why independent thinkers have been attacked throughout history. Socrates was executed for corrupting the youth. Galileo was imprisoned for questioning the church. Anyone who sees through the illusion is seen as a threat that must be silenced. And the Sigma male? He embodies that threat. Reason 2, Sigmas don't worship money, so they can't be bought. Most men are slaves to money. They chase promotions, kill themselves working, and sacrifice their entire lives just to have a little more. And the system loves it, because as long as a man is chasing money, he's under control. The elites can make him do anything by dangling a paycheck in front of him. Work longer hours? Yes, sir. Keep quiet about corruption? Of course. Sell out his morals for a bonus? No problem. But the Sigma male? He doesn't play that game. Sigmas know that money is just a tool, not the goal. They don't need a fancy car to impress people. They don't crave status symbols. They don't care about corporate approval, and that makes them untouchable. Because how do you control a man who doesn't want what you're offering? You can't. That's why the elites hate Sigmas. They can't be manipulated like the average worker. They can't be bribed like politicians. They can't be bought off like influencers. And when a man can't be bought, he's free to tell the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Reason 3, Sigmas are ghosts in the system. They can't be tracked or controlled. Most people leave a digital footprint everywhere they go. Their data is collected, sold, and used against them. Social media monitors their interests. Governments track their movements. AI analyzes their behavior. And most people, they don't care. But Sigmas, they understand that privacy is power. They don't overshare online. They don't fall for the trap of constant surveillance. They know that in today's world, information is the new currency. And the less people know about you, the harder it is to control you. That's why the elites hate them. A man who's invisible is unpredictable. He can't be easily manipulated or blackmailed. He doesn't give the system leverage over him. That's a serious problem for those in power. Because control isn't just about laws and force, it's about information. The more they know about you, the easier it is to control you. But the Sigma male, he plays a different game. He moves in silence. He doesn't follow predictable patterns. He keeps his intentions hidden, and that makes him the ultimate wild card. In a world where everyone is being watched, the one who can't be tracked holds the real power. Reason 4. Sigmas are self-sufficient. They don't need the system. Most men are dependent on the system for survival. They need a boss to pay them. They need a government to take care of them. They need approval to feel validated. But a Sigma? He doesn't need anyone. He can make his own money. He can live off the grid. He can survive without approval, without validation, without permission. And that makes him a massive threat, because the elites thrive on dependency. They need people to rely on them so they can keep them in line. A dependent man is a weak man. A man who can't provide for himself is a man who will obey. But a self-sufficient man, he's dangerous. Because if people realize they don't need big corporations, big banks, or big governments to survive, the entire system falls apart. Reason 5. The system can't predict or control Sigma males, and that terrifies them. Powerful systems, whether political, corporate, or social, thrive on one thing: predictability. They rely on the ability to forecast, influence, and manipulate human behavior to maintain control. They need men to be either obedient workers or easily distracted consumers. But Sigma males, they don't fit into any of those categories, and that's a massive problem for the elites. In today's world, data is king. Every click, purchase, and interaction is monitored, analyzed, and used to predict your next move. Social media algorithms are fine-tuned to keep you scrolling. Advertisements are tailored to your subconscious desires, and governments track every financial transaction to make sure you stay within their controlled economic grid. But here's where the Sigma male breaks the system. He isn't mindlessly consuming entertainment. He isn't chasing clout or approval online. He isn't trapped in the cycle of debt, luxury, and empty status symbols. The system can't predict him because he doesn't behave like the masses. He isn't driven by external rewards. He moves based on his own logic, strategy, and long-term vision. And when the system can't predict you, it can't control you. The elites love men who are dependent. They want you to rely on corporate jobs, government assistance, and digital systems to survive. Because when you're dependent, you comply. You follow their rules, you avoid risks, and you never dare to challenge the status quo. But a Sigma, he builds his own sources of income. He learns real skills that make him self-sufficient. He lives below his means, so he's never trapped by financial slavery. And most of all, he values freedom over comfort. This makes him dangerous to a system that needs men to stay weak, distracted, and obedient. When men start realizing they don't need the system loses its power. Elites thrive on division. They need people fighting each other. Left versus right, rich versus poor, men versus women. When people are divided, they don't notice who's really pulling the strings. But the Sigma male, he sees through the deception. He doesn't get caught up in the endless wars of ideology because he understands one thing. The real battle isn't between ordinary people. It's between the powerful and the independent. And that's exactly why they fear him. Because he thinks for himself. And once a man learns to think for himself, he's impossible to control. You see, the reason the elites fear Sigma males isn't just because they think differently. It's because they live differently. They don't fall for the traps. They don't seek validation. They don't let the system define them. And most importantly, they don't play by the rules designed to keep them weak. And that is terrifying to those in power. Because control isn't just about laws, money, or surveillance. It's about obedience. It's about making sure the majority never realize they have the power to break free. But when a Sigma steps outside the system, when he proves there's another way to live, he sets off a chain reaction. When more men stop seeking approval, when more men refuse to be controlled, when more men become self-sufficient, unstoppable, and untouchable, that's when the system starts to collapse. And that's where you come in. Because you don't have to be just another pawn in their game. You can start thinking for yourself. You can start moving differently. You can start building a life that isn't dependent on their system. And once you do, they lose control over you forever. So the question is, Are you going to keep living by their rules? Or are you going to become the kind of man they fear? The choice is yours.